Well, any of the like traditional sleds are pretty good, but like the shopping cart isn't great, but also I think it's because what it does is they have it set up so that each wheel is its own contact surface. So it's super unstable. Yeah, it's maybe one of those where it's like you could have fudged it and been nobody nobody would have cared. Yeah. And I fell through the world again. I think there's a specific spot on top of the mountain that if you're going from the cannons, you fall through because I consistently fall through in that same spot. No, I think. Oh, yeah, but you're using the like more traditional sled. Yeah. Um, at least that has the runners. There's the Yeti. I think the reason I never got the Yeti was when I went through that cannon, it just sent me out of the world. Like you can't touch anything. And that was my problem. Like I would use the sticks because you can kind of afterlife your flight. And yeah, I just flew past it. Whereas that time I actually got Yeti. Yeah, I'm only at 3,500 and I'm pretty much set. Yeah. Oh, okay. I fell through the world on the first cannon this time. I don't know, but there's achievements that make it sound like yeah, the yeah, I would assume that too. I have 12 tickets still. I don't think it's beneficial to go for the gold trinkets, like go for the really expensive ones, because you can't tell what it is. I lucked out in the gem. I got the gem, and it kind of I could make it look like the bell on my shopping trolley, but yeah, there's no reason to. All the other gold ones I have just kind of look horrendous. There we go. I finally made it up to the top without clipping through the world. from the trinket shop. You have to customize your cart or your sled. So, yeah, you can attach it to your sled. Yeah, I think you can only have 2 tools. I'm going to finish the race. Get my easy 6,000. Oh, I'm down at the bottom. I'll go up the lift, and maybe I can drop down and see it. So I was at my local warehouse store, Sam's Club, but others are available. Um, BJ's is more south. Oh, I see your little wood ramp. Yeah, BJ's. I associate BJ's as like southeast. I'm sure they're in like Ohio and stuff like that, but it's more of a Carolinas and south. Um, the Oh, I just leveled up my shopping cart and I was like, what just dinged? Um, my club now has uh spicy chicken bulldog noodles in a 6-pack. Let me tell you, I forgot how spicy they are. Like, Korean food always gets me for whatever reason. I think it's because like I don't have Korean enough to to build up a tolerance for the specific spice, and b have that in my memory. Um, I'm like, oh yeah, it's it's a more this kick versus some of the other uh, spices. So yeah, they just come in like single serve things. It's just like it's like something you would get at a Korean mart, dude. Like people will go on, they'll wax poetic about the ramen offerings in a konbini. Everyone undersells the variety. It's like, oh yeah, do you want Pizza Hut flavored ramen? I guess that was yakisoba. Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's good. It tastes like a pepperoni pizza. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you should not be walking into a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart or a Lawson expecting a gourmet dinner. All right, I have 40,000. Let's. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is another sled because the shopping cart's fun, but yeah, 130 is the like. Yeah, 130 is the dog sled. It's like maybe 70,000 is a steak. 75 might be a coffin. I guess we'll go 75, see if that's a coffin. Yeah, like combinis are if you just need to grab something. A, it's gonna be delicious. And taste fresh. And B, it's so cheap. Even doing the like even doing the, you know, factoring in the yen, like the price for somebody in Japan, not American travelers, it's still so much cheaper. Right. Also, like cost of living is wildly different than it is here in the States. Yeah, it's because everybody's moving into the cities. Yeah. I was looking at a ESL teaching position for a city like 2 hours north of Tokyo. And I was like, I want to apply to this because if I could potentially get it, it's it's a big enough city that I could survive. Like by survive, I mean like I'm not in the sticks. Yeah. Um, but also it's far enough outside of Tokyo that it's Japan. Like, which is weird to say, but you know what I mean when I say that. Universities, you need a master's degree for sure. Um, for young, like these are places that it is English immersion. So all of them are like, you don't need to know any Japanese. And I mean, obviously, like if I were to get it, I would at least learn some phrases before I moved over there. But um, yeah, that would be a yeah early 30s teaching English over in Japan. No, I mean like when I was there, we were definitely tall, but they weren't as small as you would assume. It's not Vietnam. I would be Goliath in Vietnam. God, could you imagine that though? Like I'm over in Japan, you and Christine go to Vietnam for like a vacation. I tag along, like I meet up with you guys for a few days, and it's you and your Vietnamese wife, and then this 6 foot tall Viking that speaks Japanese. Yeah, like I don't doubt that. It would be more of, oh, this guy speaks Japanese. I expect him to speak English. Yeah. Like, who are you? Yeah. I don't know any Vietnamese, but I speak Japanese. Oh yeah, sure enough, this is just a coffin. Yeah, I'll are you at the base or are you coming down? First jet skis. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even have to worry about leveling up to change the colors or anything. Well, it's brown already, so it's like all the colors are the same for your rank up. So it's not like as perfect as is. You know, I don't need to make it level 3 or 4 so I can get red like my shopping cart so I could have that as my target cart. I never have to worry about that because I have one of the I have the local version of AMC Plus. Oh, it like the theater that I would go to, it'll absolutely sell out. Yeah, dude, it's a Chris Nolan movie. Like, it's a Chris Nolan movie. Like he gets glazed a lot. Some of his projects definitely earn it. Um, that's one like I've watched it a few more times since it came out. It's a very interesting idea, but it's so subliminal in its messaging that I don't know. You have to watch that thing on a phone with the phone like an inch from your face so you can see all of the little details. Oh, I watched Interstellar again, and that movie A holds up really well, and B like it handles the villain so much better than people give it credit for. Like his version of Interstellar. Yeah, I met Jonathan. Uh, if it was directed by Spielberg, I would not like it. Well, the problem is like he is very on the nose with a lot of his stuff. Like he'll explain it either through just literal showing you or a character will explain it. He would not have used the soundtrack to showcase how much time is passing by. He would have, like he would have cut-ins for like the guy on the ship being like, "Oh, I guess this is it. What do I do now?" Yeah, I think he would do it very linearly. Well, and like, let's be real. The maybe the only character that would be the same between the Nolans and Spielberg would be Dr. Brand. Like Spielberg likes his multi-layered bad guy that thinks he's a good guy or misunderstood bad guy. Because like if you think of that movie as having three villains, your first villain is Dr. Brand because he's literally like, "Oh, I'm just killing everyone that I'm sending." The second villain is Matt Damon. Like he's the most literal villain in the movie. He's only a villain because he doesn't tell people the truth. Oh, I don't think you would think of him as an antagonist, but he is a villain. And then the third villain's time. Like time is the ultimate villain, and it turns out that like, oh, maybe we we're never gonna figure this out, but time comes first. Time comes first. So convoluted ending. I mean, it's up there with like it's. I would argue it's the only sci-fi part of that film. Well, remember, like that's a research paper that they animated. Yeah, like that research that research paper was like the leading resource, and then they visualized it. Um, I yeah, I like Fight Club's one that I would offer up, but I don't think that movie is. Well, and I also wouldn't call it like a masterpiece film. It's definitely a cult classic, but oh yeah, you figure what like coming out around that time would have been Jurassic Park, would have been Titanic a few years later. The 90s was very drama heavy. Yeah. I still think Office Space is the best at it. You start losing it, but it's the best at showing the mundane. Like Fight Club tries to I mean, it fantasizes about the mundane in that oh, you now have all this time to just schizophrenia yourself into a fight club and this, yeah, bring down bring down the patriarchy. Um, Dude, I think the best representation of that anti-office culture was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I'll give a shout out to um, a YouTuber by the name of Emp Lemon, EMP Lemon. He's got a really good series called Never Ever. And he did one that's there will never ever be a show like Monday Night Raw, and it covers like the Attitude Era stuff a lot, and just the anti-establishment, anti-hero ness of Stone Cold. I think honestly, like the reason people became fascinated in that, people are fascinated in the life that they don't have. So I think the reason people now are fascinated with the van life is everything is such a rat race. Easy, my parents have a van. Oh yeah, the people that have made it their entire personality and refuse to, yeah. Imagine like imagine being a 32-year-old woman who's lived in a van for the past like 6 years trying to hold a steady relationship. Yeah. Like, I'm a pretty open-minded person, but not that open-minded. Yeah. Like at least have a PO box. Like people in a mobile home park or people that buy a. Oh, yeah. I mean, like I have no problem like if that's all you can afford, like hey, if you can have your own four walls, if that's how you have to do it, I don't look down on people like that. Like, if that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. And it's good that you have four walls and a roof. Um, but yeah, the people that are like, oh well, it was so much cheaper to just buy a double wide and put it on blocks, and it's like, okay, but then you're never gonna sell that. If you're fine with a double wide being your permanent home, cool. Just don't expect somebody to want to buy a double wide. Yeah. Don't take a mortgage out if you're going to buy a double wide. Well, I'm curious with all of the. Okay, I could get. It appears to be a rocket, a teacup, the dog sled, or a chair on a pallet, maybe. I mean, the dog sled's 130, the rocket's 120. I'll buy the rocket because we're never gonna have a third person. It's a bitch to deal with that stuff. All right. Next is a scarf and or more goggles. So maybe 72 for. Oh, it's not a YouTuber. Yes. No. So what happened was it was a older guy um, that had a $200,000 Lego collection, like super rare sets that hadn't been built and stuff like that. And his kids took it to a consignment shop. That consignment shop then got bought out by Bricks and Minifigs, which is a like national chain. And Bricks and Minifigs doesn't want to honor the consignment contract that the previous shop had in place. But they also aren't willing to give the goods back. Well, it could have been that they made their purchase price based off of having those sets in consignment. Well, but what I mean by that is that could have increased the valuation that Bricks and Minifigs were offering. So for them to just give back the set, or it, I'll call it the set because it's just easier. It could have been a like I don't know the exact details of the deal because that's kind of been lost. Um, but it could have been a deal of like, hey, you're selling these for me regardless. Like whatever it takes, just sell them. So there is no out in terms of like you have 90 days to sell this. It's we know it's going to take forever to sell some of these. Yeah. Yeah. Then a YouTuber who I've never heard of made a video on the whole situation. Then Bricks and Minifigs wanted to go after that creator's um, YouTube channel and Patreon. So like, well, like they were they were going to not attempt. They were going to abuse the DMCA system to do it. And well, you don't even need proof anymore with DMCA, which is horrendous. There's also no checks in the system of like who's making the claim, because yeah, the way that it works on YouTube is, let's say somebody was uploading SWW show uh, audio on their channel. If we didn't notice it and somebody else did, they could file a DMCA claim pretending to be one of us, and there's no proof of ownership required. Yeah. But then any result of the claim, like, would go to that person. It goes to the filer. It doesn't go to who owns the copyright. And some of those have deals where it's like, you know, UMG has deals with people that they go and copyright claim stuff or DMCA stuff on behalf of UMG. So anyway, regardless, that whole situation happened. Patreon, the CEO of Patreon, or co-founder, I don't know exactly what his, yeah, exactly what his title is anymore. Came out with a video and is like, we've come to the conclusion that we will absolutely not be taking down his channel, and basically told Bricks and Minifigs to shove it. And they'll never like they'll never be able to win against Patreon because Patreon's lawyers are a lot better than lawyers that BAM could afford. Yeah. Well, remember they made a huge crackdown on the adult stuff a few years ago. I'd love to see their revenue graphs and then compare them to OnlyFans and Fansly and see, can we match up exactly when Patreon makes their push against all the adult content on their platform? How quickly does that shift over to the no, remember Patreon did theirs beforehand. Yeah. Yeah, Steam was the one that was going to be getting into it with the credit cards. Patreon was already shifting towards being more family friendly. Or clean up their image at the very least. Like, oh, there was definitely damage control going on. Which, by the way, all of these AI companies that are now going to IPO, you better show some revenue streams because now it matters. Right. But also, like, think, yeah. Think about it this way: like, Anthropic is going to be like, oh, we need to push to make all these data centers because we need to show growth. And all of these communities are actively rejecting. Honestly, though, like, if that's what it takes, I I am finally okay with people being red pilled through Facebook on this stuff because yeah. Yeah, but not at the scale that they would be. That's the thing. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's an office park. Like, you could hide, like, you could hide the Avengers in an office park. Those those things may as well be just blank boxes to people. Yeah. Well, that's like the what's the building in Manhattan? That's the AT&T building. Yeah, it's AT&T. That's got all their inner ocean cabling. Yeah. Yeah, there's a building in Knoxville, Tennessee that you can touch on the freeway. And the reason that that building is there and was never moved is it would cost like $20 billion to move that building because there are so many communications networks that run through it. How do I not take down the entire Eastern Seaboard network of the United States military and all of their defense contractors? Shit, I would take down that building in Knoxville. It doesn't matter if you take down the server room. If you take down the connectors, eh, a third of the world could probably lose access to the internet. I think India and China can, and North Korea. Although China's probably got their own. Well, we know North Korea can access Steam. Well, yeah, because Kim Jong Un or whatever his name is now is very fond of Steam games. Oh, no, there's no question, you know. I do wonder like how those conversations go. I have a park bench as a sled. I just went to customization and I have a park bench. It's a two-person sled. Yeah. It usually just drops straight down, especially if you're in the air. Where'd you go? Oh, I thought you were at the base. That guy's a baller now. We definitely need to find something else because I think I've maxed out what what I want to get in this game. Like, obviously, we could play it again one more time, but it's like, this isn't my bench sled, but my gold chain. I just need a turtleneck. Also, Red Rocket. Yeah, like I have the most expensive hat. I have the most expensive necklace. The full size cowboy hat. I don't know. I was hoping it'd be like a Doug Dimmadome 10 gallon. Like I guess now at this point, my only thing, the only reason behind points is to try and get the trinkets. Oh, one of the 40s or the 200s. Yeah, it's probably just RNG, and it's oh, you got zero. um, yeah, like a bankrupt. It's probably just RNG, and then the number that you get is how many like ticks along the wheel it goes. Confetti cannon. Okay, so I don't think that's a trinket you can add to your sled. Catch. Damn, that thing's going. Okay, let's see. Inventory. So it's not an inventory item. You know, it's not like it's not a tool, I guess. Um, and they're also not trinkets. Where's the top of the? Oh, that's right. If you take that out of the lift, you go all the way to the top, not this middle point. So we've had this state of play, and obviously this weekend is Summer Games Fest. Do we get GTA 6 trailer 3? I think there's going to be two. Like, there'll be trailer 3, and then there'll be a trailer 4, yeah, close to launch. But I mean, like, what, you're going to wait for Gamescom to kick off your marketing? Yeah. Yeah, GTA is too big for PAX. No, I mean, it was one of the interviews that he did. Like, no, PlayStation's still the lead. I mean, the consoles matter because um, do you foresee a future under the new Xbox administration where the the studios get spun off into separate entities again? Oh, I was thinking more of like maybe taking the Xbox branding off of a studio like Bethesda because for the normies that, you know, don't pay attention, selling the next Elder Scrolls with an Xbox branding on it, they might be like, oh, is it coming to PlayStation? I guess that's what I mean. Like, do we see the dissolution of Xbox Studios, and it's just all of these studios under the Xbox umbrella? Well, remember the We Are Xbox. This is an Xbox. Is the old. Well, they brought back the old green and kind of an old logo, or it's the modern logo retroified. I think their only chance at a Hail Mary is for the next Elder Scrolls to come out and not be a janky piece of shit. Like, they wanted to see the jank. They wanted to see. They wanted the jank of, oh, here's 30,000 cheese wheels. Speaking of video game writers, yeah, until 24, right. I think I think this is a uh, communication breakdown on multiple fronts. It's Alana overhyping her role at Santa Monica. No, I mean, like, I vaguely remember some of the stuff around that, and it's like she was going, "Oh, I'm gonna get the chance to be a writer on a game," and like she was hyping it up that like she was gonna be potentially a lead writer, and I was like, okay, and now come to find out she hasn't been with the studio in 2 years, so all of that stuff is. I wonder if what she started work on was DLC for Ragnarok. Yeah, yeah, 20 or 21. Yeah. Well, it's also it's very finite. Like it's got an end, and it now the first one ends on such a cliffhanger of like, oh, there's definitely a second one in this setting at the very least. and and Ragnarok's like, no, this is it. Like Kratos is just conquering worlds at this point. I need to see more. I mean, like they did a decent enough job of handling Norse mythology. Well, I would ask, okay, of who, right? Is it Loki? Is it Freya? Is it you know? Are we gonna play as Thor in like a weird? Oh, yeah. I was like, I've never seen the Daredevil show. I was trying to rack my mind on who who you would be talking about. Yeah. Which like I have faith that they'll do Freya right. It won't start off hot, but if it's if it's God of War but like a small story, as long as it's priced appropriately. Yeah, if this is a full price game, it should be a full price game. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like if they're it has a big enough audience that if they're able to put together a good game, it will sell. Are there more than 8 God of Wars? It's well, if you're gonna count that, then Gran Turismo's got like 15 games. Yeah, like that was the era of Gran Turismo had a PSP game or a Vita game, and like it's tangentially tied into whatever the mainline Gran Turismo is. But then also, do we consider when they were two separate products, the A spec and B spec Gran Turismos to be separate games? Because if so, then the number goes up by like 5 or 6. Um, yeah, of the non-serialized, non-sports. That's the only one they've got anymore. It's because they were the only ones producing a competent baseball game. Remember, that's like the reason they have the rights is because of the era of 2K and ESPN and all these other all these other games, and it's like, oh, they're not selling the way that the show does. They're not. They don't have all the features. And then Sony just bought the studio making the best performing one, and then went and got the license. 989. I can have a gray rocket. I can have a teal rocket. I can have a glowing red rocket. Not right now. My brother's dog has a glowing red rocket most of the time I see him. Okay, there's something at 250. Yeah, like the last thing is I guess there's a Zorb at 500,000 points, and there's the bounce castle at 1,000,000. The bounce castle holds 6, so it's basically a whole lobby. Which, let's be honest, if you're gonna have something like that, let everyone pool their money to unlocking it. Like, I get that it's not hard to get points in this. I mean, I was at 3,000 when we started this an hour ago, and I've spent about 220,000, and I'm at 209,000. So like this stream alone, I've made 400,000. So if I wanted to, I could have gotten, I would have been close to getting the Zorb at this point. But that's like a 3 to 4 hour grind just doing the races over and over to get the bounce castle. And it's like, then you would have to have a lobby that's willing, because as we found out, the characteristics of the sleds change based on how many people are required or how many people can fit. Because that 2-person tube that I have, you can't move that thing worth a shit by yourself. No, it's a pain in the ass. The 1-person sleds are so much more, even the shopping cart is so much more nimble. The saucer's good. The saucer's a real good one. That first one that you get. But back to the GTA 6 conversation. Is that his one more thing? Or does the show open with it? Like, Take-Two is truncating the marketing so much with GTA 6. They could just buy out day one of Summer Games Fest. Oh, what they should really do, like if they want to have fun with it like that, everything's stylized in GTA. Even like GTA 6 will have the stylized shows and stuff like that. If if the video for Summer Games Fest just starts black and then it opens on that stylized video and it's Keeley like doing a shtick, but an in-world shtick for Vice City, and then yeah, it pulls out and it's what Jacob I think is the name of the male character. It pulls out and he's drinking his beer to show off. Oh yeah, we have the fluid physics, and then yeah, it goes straight into like a cutscene or something like that. Dude, I think Jeff could retire just based off Chris Nolan. Well, I think what's great with him is like you wouldn't know it, and his parents just let him do it. Like oh yeah, it's Keeley's kid, and it's like oh actually he genuinely cares and he's good at this. Also, like okay, you want to complain about him being a fan of his own shit. So what? You want to go back to the 2004 E3 like where it's literally a here is a slide deck of sales charts because this is a sales meeting, not yeah. He has he has both a very bland and very cultured taste. It's like he loves auteurs. So, of course he's going to love Kojima. But or like Nier, he is a fan of video game directors that take a chance and tell an interesting layered story. And that totally comes from his connection to Hollywood. Like, yeah, yeah. It's it's funny, right? Like the joke is that time is a flat circle. We're having this conversation, and I was watching a Best of Giant Bomb, and it was 2013 or 2014 E3, and no, well, it was an E3. It wasn't a SGF, and it was the year that Ubisoft had like the professional cosplayers, and they didn't give them lines. They just like had Aisha Tyler like improv, and she didn't know like they were getting paid to be there. And it's like, yeah. Oh, dude, go back and watch. She's a good host. Like, I think it started as a gig and then they realized she's good at it. Yeah. I think she was a plant. I think she was an industry plant that then learned to respect the industry. Adam Sessler for about 4 years. As soon as he started to go off the deep end, holy shit. Oh, no, I never thought that. I think maybe they just edit his derangement and then they're like, well, we got to get views, so let's just throw his rants in. I will say, like, for as much as G4 failing was funny to watch, there needs to be a centralized. No, but that's the problem is like a centralized location for gaming stuff would never be sustainable. But it's like, yeah, they had like 60 writers. You know what the ironic thing about the whole Colbert show? If Trump just shut his fucking face, that show would have been canceled anyway. Like, it was not sustainable at its size and scale. It's bad. You're lucky if it's half. Well, there's still this. Nah, Fallon is so. Fallon's never been in the ire. Oh. I mean, Kimmel's always been controversial. Yeah. I mean, hell, like, Reggie Fils-Aimé was on Fallon to showcase the Wii U and the Switch. Like, Fallon is the family friendly. No, 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 no. Conan was never family friendly. Mm, the ones when they were cut for TV were definitely family friendly, but when they would release the whole segments online, they definitely weren't. Um, which deal? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard about it. I didn't see the number. Yeah. I mean, it's not too dissimilar to Rand Paul. Like he just bought TV time. Just like, oh, I'm gonna buy a half hour time slot in prime time on a Saturday and just basically have a phone line show. That's true, but also like I th- I think I don't know because obviously the current administration is making these networks act in interesting ways. The the branding of late night, the branding of was it the Late Show with Fallon? Well, and then Jimmy Kimmel's now Jimmy Kimmel Live. Well, but Colbert was it was the Late Show. Yeah, and then like that branding has carried weight for no 100 years. Like yeah, that's what I mean by the branding. Like the Late Show, the Tonight Show. Well, they're also on different networks. I know it's not 100 years, but it's at least 60 years because when they were talking about um, the Beatles, the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan stage or on the Ed Sullivan show, yeah, yeah, because that was the whole thing. Is like he was, yeah. I also think like that's the only way he would ever do it is if it was. Well, the Beatles were 63. They were they were in their 20s at that point, so yeah, he's at least 80. The Beatles formed were the biggest stars ever and broke up in the span of I think it was 11 years. I have no problem with people saying, "Oh, the Beatles are so influential." But my issue is people refuse to acknowledge the influence that blues has on all of that because of their inherent racist. Like, either A, they never heard about it, or B, like, they can't believe that a black man did a white man's thing better. Yeah, also, Elvis gets way too much credit. It's like, Elvis was literally just covering Memphis blues songs. Good. A, there's better acts than him, and B, his act is so shamelessly ripped off. At least, like, at the time, the Skinner guys acknowledged, like, we are heavily influenced by Memphis Delta Blues. Like, this is this is BB King. This is, all of those. Like, we got inspiration from them, which is funny to think about considering the iconography that is so heavily associated with that group. Yeah. Oh, I don't think they pictured Dukes of Hazzard. I think they pictured one specific part of Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, they had two, but yeah. There's two, and a third was in the process of being made. If you want to be pedantic about it. It would have gotten a lot worse because they only had one sound, and they lucked out in that the era that they came into and were popular, like Hendrix was dead, like Beatles weren't a thing anymore. The Americana rock was dead from like Elvis and stuff like that. So it was an interesting sound. And then, because they wouldn't have survived to the 80s. So, yeah. Dude, Skinner wouldn't have survived Iron Maiden, Sabbath, like the late 70s. Like they may have been able to adapt and potentially got. Well, yeah, because I mean they broke up and then they've always existed. I think that's part of the problem is like much in the way that the Beatles kind of went out on top. CCR was kind of like that, but then the breakup was so dirty that people just became tribal. No, I don't think there was ever going to be an amount. I think the only way that would have happened, yeah, yeah, QTD'd. Well, my game froze too. Remember, this game you can't quit. You have to force quit. It wouldn't have been like a Saudi thing because Lennon was so anti that. Like he would have been, he would have never gone to like do a Saudi show. He would never do. He would never done any like the golf shows or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Ringo's still alive. He's got his own group. No, okay, it's a Switch game. I mean, those are definitely Pokemon. Those are definitely Pokemon colors on the top there. What in the motherfuck is this? No, because I haven't played my Switch since. When did Kingdom Heart or not Kingdom Hearts? Animal Crossing come out? Yeah, that's the last time I ever touched my Switch. Toze? Oh fuck no. Dragon Quest Treasures. The problem with Dragon Quest is the problem that Dead or Alive has. The branding is Dragon Quest. Then there's like 6 different sub brands underneath Dragon Quest. Okay. Maybe a few bullet holes in a wall? 73? I mean, no, it's PS4, PS5. I was gonna say it's GTA. Oh, yeah, Dead Island 2. Yeah. I think Dead Island 2 was it's either recently on PlayStation Plus or maybe I saw it on Game Pass. It was one of those like I don't remember hearing good things about it. 81%. Holy shit, that's on everything. Yeah, I'm thinking it's a Life is Strange. Okay, so it is a Life is Strange. $21. Like double exposure, I guess. I thought the most recent one came out more recent than that. True Colors. Did we not guess that one? I thought we had guessed that one. Okay. Not rated doesn't mean anything. The Legend of Dragon, yeah. Chaos Rune. Medieval. Yeah, it's meta and evil. It's also how I think the English pronounce the word. 85%. Well, it was Sony Europe. Um, 3DS. Okay, what's the Mario Kart 3DS? Yeah, 7 was the mobile, or I say mobile, it was the 3DS one. 8's the one that starts on Wii U, goes to Switch, is on the Switch too. Well, no, I think there's a version of 8 that is on. Yeah, but with as weird as Nintendo is about intergenerational games, it is surprising that they've got a game that is on all three. Okay, black and white. I have no idea. I've heard of it. I remember hearing, I think somebody on Nextlander talk about it, but yeah, not a damn clue. It's the DC Metro. That is a joke that not many people will get. Unless you've been to DC. It's the DC Metro. Still. Shock TV on the Wii. Did they do like a WarioWare Wii? It wasn't that. A beat 'em up hack and slash on the Wii. From Platinum. Mad World, okay. If I didn't know any better, I would have said, like, Brutal Legend. Okay. It's Far Cry 3. That game has a very distinct look. Because it's... Well, it's also the only CryEngine game. Like, Crysis wasn't... I mean, it was out, but... Like, nobody was playing Crysis. Partially because they... Like, their computers couldn't play it. Yeah, Crysis 3, famously. Like, I remember that whole era, because that was right around when I started getting into PC gaming. I was like, oh, can your computer run Crysis 3? I was like, I don't care. I have more computationally intensive tasks, including motion graphics. Dude, I haven't used Excel in so long. Yeah, well, it's not just that. Like, the only thing I use any Excel like is for our stuff. $64%. Okay. Survival that's set in like the bayou. $2019. Oh. It's like Evolution or something like that. Evolved? Ancestors, that's what it's called. Dan Reichert did a quick look of this, and it might be the most Dan Reichert thing I've ever seen. Spyro. Yes. Stealth platformer on the PS2. Oh, so this is Sly. I have no idea. It must have been released as Sly Raccoon somewhere. This might be your Pokemon game. Okay, this is Mario Party No, it would be Superstars, I think. Oh, it's something like PALs or something like that. Party. I think Jamboree's the new one. I mean, admittedly, the party one makes sense because it introduces the whole ally system. Okay, this is very stylized. Okay, an Xbox exclusive. It looks like He-Man, but it's not. Dungeons of Hinterberg. Never even heard of it. This is some like Civ ass bullshit or um okay. Oh, is this like 10 million or something like that? I mean, it's just a match 3. It's not. Tile matching RPG. Highest cunning goes first. Oh. I thought that was on mobile, but Challenge of the Warlords. I was like, I'm not against, you know, another puzzle quest. It's just there's no puzzle quest 1. Okay, this could be a lot of things. This could still be a lot of things. Well, it's definitely not a Call of Duty because, well, the only Call of Duties released on this generation only are Black Ops 6 and 7. Oh, this is from a Drewski video. That's funny. Oh, and it's very neon and dark, yeah. Oh, Arc Raiders. It's Arc Raiders. I haven't really seen much of Marathon, so I didn't know if it had. Yeah. I think it's free right this weekend if you wanted to check it out, but I have zero desire to do that. Okay, PS3. You think it's just omakase? Yeah. Well, it's just whatever this says. It looks like Gmake 7 and then walk through. No. 2008? That's it. Poorly described game. Alright. A teenage boy is totally fine with his childhood friend volunteering to become tree fertilizer. Teenage boy is totally fine with his childhood friend dying, basically. With his childhood friend volunteering. You play as the ultimate bodyguard, escorting your crush on a cross-country road trip. So she can literally die for... Is this Last of Us? No, it's Metacritic 75. Also, it wasn't your crush that you're escorting. The local neighborhood watch kid gets a promotion and immediately takes his friends on a colorful suicide mission for nature. Grounded? I don't know. Ride a giant fluffy dog pig hybrid while collecting elemental trinkets to feed a big glowing shrub. Visions of Mana? Never heard of it. A high schooler goes to extreme lengths and risks. Oh, sorry. This is not properly punctuated. A high schooler goes to extreme lengths and risks his life in deadly mazes just to impress a girl who runs a local club. A nerd solves increasingly deadly sliding block puzzles because he does not know how to just ask a girl out on a normal date. Well, this is on the links. There's no way we're getting this. Walking into fire, drowning in water, and getting eaten by sentient chattering teeth, all for the sake of joining a school club. A guy hoards electronic parts in a deadly labyrinth so he can be deemed. Twisted Towers? Or Deadly Towers. It can be deemed worthy by a girl known as the Mental Marvel. I mean, guess we can go with Deadly Towers. You need 4 different types of specialized footwear just to survive this initiation ritual involving sliding on ice and stepping on buttons. This came out in '89. Help a floppy haired 1990s nerd collect integrated circuits and avoid literal bugs in this classic tile based Windows PC puzzle game. Also, this was on the links, not Windows. Chips Challenge. We were never going to get it, but come on, like. Why does it say we got a yellow on that? Anyway, we didn't guess. We guessed Deadly Towers. I guess that was close. You act as a freelance gig worker in a retro-futuristic metropolis, mostly just answering ringing payphones and stealing people's commutes. Sunset Overdrive? You spend your time carefully balancing the approval ratings of heavily armed special interest groups by committing vehicular manslaughter. Balancing the approval ratings of heavily armored special interest groups. I need to, like, is it a Burnout game? Oh, this is original PlayStation. Is this just Grand Theft Auto? A bird's eye view of a sociopath who constantly changes allegiances between mad scientists, hillbillies, and corporate overlords just to make a quick buck. Yeah, I guess we can try. Although they were set in London first. Oh, GTA 2. You spend an alarming amount of time buying knockoff clothes and eating steamed pastries to feel like a real man. Knockoff clothes and eating steamed pastries. It is basically a highly aggressive tourism simulator where you strictly enforce traffic laws while simultaneously breaking all of them. Maybe, but I don't get the strictly enforcing. PS3. Oh. This is Sleeping Dogs. Undercover Cop. That's what led me to it. There's 3 more. We can knock these out real quick. A hospitality simulator where you spy on people and steal their life essence for an old guy in a cloak. Okay, this is kind of like, this is Dark Souls-esque. It's basically a bed and breakfast from hell, and the host is an uncomfortably polite rodent. PS2. You run around a hotel, peeking through keyholes to figure out the exact right moment to rob blockheaded weirdos of their glowing joy. I have no idea. A survival game where running away from a crazy chef and a seductive lizard drains your sanity meter, and your only defense is taking a nap. Yeah. A geometric horror experience where you spend most of your time trying to pay off the Grim Reaper with... Oh, is this Grim Fandango? That's a Capcom game. You're trapped in a creepy purgatory hotel run by an anthropomorphic blockheaded mouse. And you must check out before you lose your mind completely. Gregory Horror Show? Never heard of it. A teenager stares at the sun so hard he ends up unexpectedly inheriting a massive Gothic real estate empire. Oh, this is Castlevania. A foreign exchange student aggressively hoards the souls of local wildlife. Yeah. I think it's Symphony. It might be 2 Simon's Quest. Aria of Sorrow. Last one for now. A group of kidnapped strangers are forced to do single-digit addition while aggressively trauma dumping on a cruise ship. A maniac traps you in a sinking boat just to teach you about bizarre pseudoscience and digital roots. This is on the DS. You have to figure out how to open doors by adding numbers together. But if you do it wrong, your companions explode from the inside out. I mean, the only like Brain Age is the only thing I can think of. An elaborate escape room where the grand prize for winning is learning about telepathy, timeline paradoxes, and ice that doesn't melt. Try to escape a sinking replica of the Titanic by solving puzzles alongside a suspiciously dressed exotic dancer and a guy who can literally not recognize faces. Your childhood crush orchestrates a deadly time-bending game of math because she really needed you to save her from an incinerator a decade ago. This was 999. This went by too many names. We'll see everyone next week. Maybe with some GTA news.